Let's welcome our panelists to the stage with a big round of applause, starting off with Mr. Vikram Kota, the CEO of GRT Hotels. Mr. Kota is someone who has elevated South India's hospitality standards through innovation rooted in legacy. Welcome. Next, I'd like to welcome Mr. Hari Ganapathy, co-founder of Pick Your Trail. Hari is transforming how Indian travelers discover and experience the world. Welcome, Hari. Next, I'd like to welcome Mr. Arun Vasu, Chairman and Managing Director of the TT Group. Arun represents one of Chennai's most respected business legacies and is taking the legacy forward in very, very unique ways. Next up, we have Ms. Gayatri Tyagarajan, CEO and founder of Kinhood Technologies. Gayatri builds digital solutions that enhance global customer experiences. Welcome, Gayatri. We also have with us Dr. Prashant Rajagopalan, Managing Director of MGM Healthcare. Okay, all right. And please welcome our moderator for this session, Yogesh Kabirdas, Assistant Editor of the Times of India. Yogesh brings a strong editorial perspective to conversations on urban growth and tourism, and I think this is definitely going to be a good one. Yogesh, over to you.
It's a brisk audience post-lunch, and I'm really happy to meet you all. Sir, the first thing is, I just want to have a basic introduction. See, Chennai has been the traditional gateway for inbound tourism in South India. The recent Tamil Nadu survey, economic survey, states that 2.6 lakh foreign tourists have visited the state, Chennai last year. And the interesting fact is, a tourist who comes to Chennai, an inbound tourist who comes to Chennai, he or she spends about $200 to $250 per day, and they stay for 9 days on an average. Whereas people who come as backpackers, they stay for about 1 month, minimum of 1 month, and they spend about $50 per day. So this economics from the tourism sector explains the significance of today's topic. Visit crafting a world-class visitor experience. How can we make this historical city a memorable experience for tourists? For today's session, we have experts from both the hospitality and tourism sector. First, we are very honored to welcome you. My first question is to Mr. Vikram Kota. He is very anxious to answer it. So, what is the infrastructure that Chennai needs to focus on to draw more tourists and make it a destination for repeat visitors? Where do we aim, and how can it be addressed?
Okay, hi everybody. How are you feeling? Good? So let me start by saying I'm here today because I love Chennai, and my family and me goes up, our lineage goes up to almost 350 years out of the 387 years of Chennai. So I belong, I'm a real hardcore Chennaiite. Having said that, I've been in hospitality and GRT Hotels is one of the brands which crafted hospitality as a homegrown brand starting off from Chennai. We have 4 hotels in Chennai in all the micro markets, and we were the first movers into Tier 2 and Tier 3. But I think when we look at a city, we need to look at it like a hotel. The first impressions are what matters. That's why when you go into a hotel, the first impression is what we all strive for. We say that within the first 15 minutes, we have to get the attention of the guest. And the same thing is for the city. I think the airports are the first gateways into the city. Railway stations are the first gateway into the city. But unfortunately, if you look at our airport, I think even if you compare a Bangalore airport or a Hyderabad airport, we're still lagging behind somewhere. I mean, there are developments which are happening, there is greening happening, but how many of you have gone to a Bangalore airport and driven out and you find these beautiful gardens, curated gardens, and same with Hyderabad. I was in Kochi, and Kochi had this beautiful, they didn't have greenery, but they had fully solar panels as you get out. So you get a feel that these guys care about it as soon as you land into the city. So I think where we are missing out in Chennai is this, we have to crack the first impressions. And I think the first impressions, when we come out, all taxis waiting, and then unfortunately, today, even an old aged guest has to walk up to the parking to get his car, which is very, very difficult. They say EV cars are allowed, but you see only VIP cars in the front picking up guests. So these are the things which might put off the first-time visitors, people who are coming to explore. I'm not talking about a tourist. Tourist is a very different thing from a traveler. I'm talking about a traveler who wants to experience Chennai as it is in Chennai. So the person, when a traveler comes in, he looks at the conveniences. He looks at how the arrival experiences. He looks at when he goes out of the airport, how is the logistics? Are our taxis, drivers, the auto drivers, are they trained to speak to the traveler, talking to them about Chennai? Are they able to tell them what are the things they can see in Chennai, what they can experience in Chennai? I think most of the countries which you go, which were mentioned in the video, and all the other places like Singapore or like Bali or even like Bangkok, I think that the taxi drivers there are fabulous. They are the ambassadors for the city. And I think that's where we have to crack that. And of course, I mean, I think all of us lament, especially hoteliers, the nightlife sucks in Chennai. I think there's nothing called nightlife. And when a traveler comes in, he wants to let his hair loose. He wants to experience Chennai in a different light in the night. But unfortunately, we don't have that kind of a nightlife. So that's one more thing I think which we lack for a visitor experience. Of course, we have a beautiful beach. We have temples. I think no one can boast about. We have UNESCO sites. But who is talking about it? I think the biggest problem what we have is packaging. Biggest problem what we have is marketing. Biggest problem is storytelling. We are not doing that storytelling. Yeah, people like Hari with Pick My Trails has been doing it in microcosms. But as policymakers, are we doing it? So that's the biggest question. And it's very sad because our assets for a traveler are many. So these are the pointers. I think the visitor experience starts with all these things. And I think temples, music, and beaches are not enough. When you think of Chennai, what do you think of? When a traveler thinks of Chennai, he thinks of the heat in the city, the traffic, and a temple. Okay, there's much more to it. I think the video showed that the December Margali season. Who's marketing it? I mean, even Bangalore's marketing cherry blossoms in Kavan Park. What are we doing? We are not doing anything in Chennai. Shillong, a place which is northeast with very difficult connectivity. I go there to see cherry blossoms in October. And we have so many seasons in Chennai, and we have so many things which can be do in different seasons, like in December, the Margali season. We're not doing anything about it. So I think visitor experience starts with all these things, and I think there has to be a collaboration between policymakers with the people who love Chennai, hoteliers, tourist or tourism officials, artists, sports people, corporates. I think they have to sit around a table and talk about visitors to Chennai and the visitor experience.
Thank you for your insights, sir. Thank you for the audience for their encouragement also. You have set the tone for the session. Sir, coming to Mr. Arun Basu, your passion for water sports and surfing needs no introduction. Could you please explain to us on what surfing has done to Tamil Nadu and India to boost tourism? Moreover, Chennai is active in water sports, which is also gaining momentum in the sports tourism segment. So, with with our vast coastline, what Mr. Vikram Kota also referred, and a conducive ecosystem, how the city can capitalize on this potential to emerge as a hub of water sports tourism.
Good afternoon, everyone. And like Vikram, I'm also a Chennai boy. Grew up, I think, 2 plots from here. Yeah, we all, I think everyone who's been here, born up here, grew up here, we love Chennai. But of course, it comes with a lot of hurdles also along the way. And just to add to what Vikram started off with, the visitor experience here, what, as a foreigner, when you come back, when you come to Chennai, there's a few people who love the chaos, but many don't, right? So it has to be made much smoother. Like we boast about Marina Beach, but I wouldn't go there. I mean, I wouldn't recommend that to a foreigner visiting to go to the Marina Beach. I would always tell them, go down the coast. It's more peaceful, it's more beautiful. So, I mean, yes, everybody knows me more for surfing than any other work I do. And it's been, I mean, I've been involved in water sports, I think close to 4 decades now. And surfing came up about 12, 13 years ago, more as a CSR, and then I got roped into many things. But to add to what you can do in the city, to make it more exciting, I mean, sport is a beautiful medium. And I must, give credit to, Tamil Nadu the last few years who've been promoting a lot of sports in Chennai and Tamil Nadu. It's something that, yes, it's a term, I don't like using this term, but sports tourism or whatever they call it. One is creating the infrastructure for sports in the city. Like, for example, what we've done here started off as a very small project in Kovalam, 30 kilometers from here. Today, you could really boast that it is the surf mecca of India. There are 12 surf schools, and the entire ecosystem there has changed. So the direct impact is into the fishing village that is now known more for surfing also. And this brings a complete different kind of crowd that comes just for surfing. There are people looking always for new surf breaks and all that. And India has a lot to offer. We've just kind of touched parts of the East Coast and West Coast. We're pushing hard, but there's so many unexplored places. And all this will lead to other factors like, like setting up hotels, which is needed. The whole infrastructure will change. So I think today we can, very proudly say that Chennai and Tamil Nadu is the leading state for surfing. Though I head the federation, I have to be neutral about India, but we have created the most impact, not just on tourism, but also on athletes. And this is only growing. Goa always boasted, I mean, we've always heard, growing up, Goa was the place for water sports and all that. Again, you have to differentiate. Water sports, going parasailing or jet skiing is not water sports. And then there's like adventure sports. So you kind of have to segregate these things. And each one comes with a different clientele, right? India, unfortunately, with the population, we have to cater to all sectors. We've got the mass tourism, we have the more adventure niche tourism. But I think this is something that Tamil Nadu has pushed with a lot of sports, which is great in many aspects. And this is going to spill out to all the other states as well. So Chennai needs, it needs more things. The old ways of just coming only to see temples has changed. So you got to mix and blend the old and the new. So in fact, Mahabalipuram, which doesn't need much marketing, you land here, any of us will suggest go to Mahabalipuram. But I find people have tried to revive it, to keep it clean, to, there's so much happening there, but still it's years behind other tourist spots, sadly, right? So there, again, combining what we've done with surf and old culture, because the younger crowd wants to come see the temples, but they also want to do an activity. They don't want to just sit in a resort. And a lot of the resorts, Vikram knows that had no activity before, right? It was You'd go for, I mean, maybe a catamaran ride in those days, but now it's needed because the clientele is like that. So I think if we improve things on this, and it's not just Chennai, the entire coast, of course, is a gold mine, and can only grow.
Now, travelers have become very experiential now. So they don't want to come and see, they want to participate. So we have seen in hoteliering also that the new age travelers, they want to come in and do something. And I think surfing has done that to our coast. And I think, Arun, you have put our state, or at least this coast, on the map of the world map. People are coming down here to surf from all over. They stay in our hotels. And it's a great thing. And inspired by his surfing, we even opened a restaurant based on surfing theme in our Radisson Temple Bay. We have a restaurant, so you should visit it. So we have food from there, from all the surf countries. So it's a global cuisine from all the surfing countries. And the surfers have a different the vibe and their way of looking at things. So we're trying to promote that there so that it becomes a unique thing.
Now, just a last thing, just to add on that is, events, festivals, I mean, we ran surf festivals for 10 years and all this kind of creates an excitement for Chennai, right? So, like the last event, we hosted a Asian Surfing Championship in August, and the number of visitors we got from all over India and abroad were, close to about 25,000-30,000. But the viewership, because it was aired live, we had more than like 2.5 million views. Now all this, the entire thing that we showed, we kept showing the Shore Temple, kept showing the surrounding, and people were fascinated by it. So it's like you said, I mean, going back to how do we project the city in a positive way. Yes, we have other issues with keeping the beach clean, for example. That's one thing that when you bring in a foreign tourist, the first thing they notice is rubbish on the beach. Everybody does their little part in cleaning the beaches, I know. But where does it go? It just goes to the next road. So there is a challenge there, and that needs to be fixed, because the one thing that puts off people is to land on a beautiful beach and you just got plastic and everything lying there.
Let's hope we'll have more blue beaches.
Yeah, so that's, well, Blue Beach also has the same thing. They clean that part, then goes the back. So there is a challenge there. But that needs to be addressed. If you want a good clientele to come, I mean, these are young people who don't need much. They just need a clean beach. So that's one challenge that we still face.
Thank you, Mr. Vasu. And why we are discussing about tourism is, many people think that it is just leisure. But one interesting point is, it's not just an economic driver, but it also generates huge job opportunities. Tourism is one of the very few sectors in the world which is actually smokeless. And second thing is, as Mr. Vikram pointed out in another summit, setting up a hotel creates about 10 ancillary jobs. It creates ancillary jobs. So that's the importance of tourism. Now, the next question is to Mr. Hari Ganapathy. Sir, your company handles outbound tourism, and can you just throw some examples from your global experiences that can be replicated in Chennai, but underlining that we are a traditional city, so how can we move to one with international standards?
I think, thanks for the introduction, because then I don't have to be a local Chennai boy and match their bar. From Chennai, so kind of traveled the world, and obviously home is where the heart is, so came back to build Pick Your Trail here. I think having been to about 50 odd countries, what you saw in Kyoto, what you saw in, let's say, Istanbul or Bali, Thailand, I think there is no dearth of the sheer breadth of what Chennai has to offer, right? Be it culturals, be it the coastline, be it food, be it history. I think there's so much that the city can offer and has to offer. And largely like how they've touched upon the fact that large part of packaging, large part of your first visitor experience, all of that plays a significant role in what you feel, right? And tourism is one such thing that, like he said, when they aired 2.5 million people watching it, they want to come. but then the first experience, like you said, like in the hotel, the lobby is the first experience. So how do you feel when you come in, walk in is what all of us are aware of, right? And honestly, it doesn't take much to just make that better, right? I feel personally, Chennai has a problem of plenty. Today's paper, if you see fastest growing state in the country, 12%. So if you're already growing 12%, why would you bother about tourism, right? I mean, you have manufacturing, you have so much happening in the state, but Kerala is not that. They have a massive tourism budget because there's no real economy apart from rubber and some bit of spices, right? I mean, so you got to keep people engaged, and like you said, tourism is a great employment opportunity. So there are like Japan right now, they are living on tourists. Thailand, 94% of their economy household has debt, which means unless you come and pay cash at the store at a 7-Eleven, it's not actually moving the economy, right? So I think there are some structural problems countries have which force them to orient themselves towards tourism. You like it, don't like it, Chennai is a manufacturing hub, like Chennai is a medical tourism hub. Chennai is very good at so many other aspects, right? And so how do you put tourism somewhere in that list of top 3 priorities for the government, sorry? I think is where largely I feel from my experience, because most cities that have multiple revenue generating opportunities always tend to kind of put tourism in the back burner because it's a very, very draining industry, right? Like you said, it's just not about cleaning for one place, but it's also the entire value chain that needs to adopt, right? We all have these, okay, let's segregate waste. All of us run some campaigns, then we're back at square one, right? So I think the amount of patience this industry demands, right? It's not a capex, it's a very human intensive industry. Obviously hotels are capex, but to build a world-class experience, it's a very human intensive industry. So the amount of training and patience required to build something like that. Singapore, way back, invested in schools to start building discipline, right? I mean, anywhere, we were in Vietnam, Sri Lanka, just go 1 hour away, Sri Lanka is so clean. And I was in Indore. Indore is the most cleanest city in India. So the pride keeps them going to keep it clean, right? So I think somewhere that sense of pride is missing, right? All of us will agree that there's so much Chennai can offer. I don't think marketing can happen without pride. I think first you got to feel really proud about what we have for you to even market about it. So I think unless we kind of take a lot of pride in what we do, then package it well, then create a visitor experience, I think it's but obvious Chennai will do really well.
Thank you for your observation, sir. So I'm trying to keep the audience also in loop because you're also part of this session, just not watching it. So in 2024, you must be surprised that we had 30 crore tourists visiting our state. That is both domestic and foreign tourists. So, this is, as he rightly pointed out, this is one of the important sectors that the government should definitely focus on. And now coming to the technology side, I'm coming to you, ma'am. How can we involve technology in transforming the city's experience for tourism?
So I was born and brought up here in Chennai as well, but I've lived outside India for 25 years or 27 years. So I've lived in New York, London, Zurich, and also Singapore as well. All of them are tourist hubs where people actually come. So I'm sure that most of you here would have actually traveled, whether it's Chennai or any other city inside India or outside India. I'm sure that you would have actually traveled. So when you go to London or even to Rome, for example, you go there, there are monuments that are actually there, which you want to see the Tower Bridge, you want to see the Colosseum, you want to see the Sistine Chapel and so on. But the second time that makes you go is the experience that you actually have. You go there to actually feel, you want to be somehow, inside the lives of the people who are actually there. So if you look at Chennai, I actually feel that, I know that, there are some hurdles that are actually there, but outside all of that, we have a very rich culture that's actually on. And today's youngsters, whether it's not a trend only here in India, it's there everywhere else. Everyone is actually looking for new age experiences. They want to actually have even the same Carnatic season that we actually saw, that we spoke about. It's no longer only Carnatic. People want to actually go and have fusion experiences that are there. So in December or January, there was a thing about Indo Soul performing a like fusion concert in Black Orchid. And you have Lecture on the Rocks, which are actually going on. You have many different like experiences that are actually there. So I was an investment banker for 25 years, and then I came back to Chennai, and now I'm actually running a place called Know Your Neighborhood. Kin is my app that we have. Here we are actually talking about experiences that people have. Did you actually know that, like you have a Georgetown walk, art walk that's actually there. There are people who are doing it in smaller scales, micro communities that are actually there, who have book clubs, who have, like running clubs, societies and everything. These are what make, like a city vibrant, and the more you actually bring it forward, you would actually see that outsiders would want to come and live here. So as an app, I'm trying to actually see how is it that I can actually promote these things even for locals. So today, somebody living in Ananagar feels that, like going to Kovalam for Arun's festival, it's such a big thing that's there. But then, like access to these things is something that, like is missing, and people are looking for in real life IRL connections that are there. In a world where AI is actually growing and so on, people are craving for real life experiences that are there, where you go and actually learn how to actually make certain things. You learn, you want to go and interact with people watching F1 races, for example. Maybe your family and friends don't actually watch it, but you want to do something very different outside the circle. How is it that we can actually build these communities and connect people through experiences is what I'm actually trying to do. And I do believe that, like Chennai has tradition, it has fusion, and it's got a very contemporary thought where we are trying to make the city better to try and actually take it out. And tech is definitely helping us. I'd also like to actually add something else as well. Going to all of these things, like if you go to a Book My Show or this thing, so the stand-up comedy acts that are there, you can go for concerts and so on. Beyond it being functional, you want to be able to interact with people and form your own small groups. Even if it is a pasta making society or, like people who are actually making Italian pastas here, it is still, like one of a tourism experiences that, like if you go to Italy today, you can, as part of your, like visits to Rome to see all the monuments and so on, you can still go and actually learn how to do it. Why is it that I can't tell people how to make a chapati or an idli or a dosa? So there are people who are doing this today and trying to actually have that stage or, like where we're able to promote what we actually have outside everything that they spoke about that the government can actually do and public people can actually do. We want to try and actually promote Chennai as a super place for people to definitely come and visit.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Yeah.
And coming back to Mr. Vikram, see, you have been a votary for sustainable tourism. And you must be aware that, lot of people, that is a sizable number of people, choose hotels, sustainable hotels over non-sustainable properties. That is a trend which is actually picking up. So he will explain more. My question to you, sir, is, see, how can the tourism department of the state government can be engaged in this particular aspect, because we are not only attracting leisure tourists or spiritual tourists, there is a huge basket of people who explore Tamil Nadu thanks to the industrial expansion and industrial manufacturing facility that are being carried out. So, my question to you, sir, how can the government be engaged in sustainable tourism?
Do I have 1 hour to talk about it? Okay. On 1st of February, we had this Kaveri Marathon, and I got up early morning, and at 5 o'clock, we started running along the Marina Beach. Such a beautiful sight. I mean, I could see the sunrise, and then I heard Carnatic music playing somewhere, and then the roadside coffee guys, and such a beautiful city. Why are we so underrated? But then I took the loop, and there I see hundreds and maybe thousands of plastic bottles. That really was a downer. And my sustainability journey started a couple of years back. We used to collect almost 4,000, 5,000 plastic bottles which were washing ashore in our Radisson Temple Bay in Mahabalipuram. That's the amount of plastic which was coming from the ocean. Can you imagine how much is there in the ocean? Then I went back and there was a statistic which said that there are 1 million bottles consumed every minute in the globe. And all these bottles are going into the ocean. They say by 2050, there will be more plastic than fish in the ocean. And the most unfortunate part is today I drink a bottle of water in plastic, and it's a single-use plastic, and I keep it there. 4 generations next to me can find the same bottle. It takes 450 years for a plastic bottle to degenerate. So that gave me a kind of a personal agenda to do something in my small way, like a drop in the ocean, they say. So today I'm very proud to say that GRT Hotels is completely 100% plastic free. We have invested in bottling plants in all our hotels, big, small, and we have made sure that absolutely no single-use plastic is there in the premises of any GRT hotel. In fact, we ran a promotion where we said, find a plastic and get a free night. So confident we were of doing this, and it really paid off. Like he was saying, I think a lot of OTAs, the online travel agents came to us, and then they started tagging us as sustainable tourism hotels. And you'll be surprised of how many people choose us more than the other hotels which are non-sustainable. So this is a business decision. It is a strategic decision. What started as a passion, a personal passion, became a very, it became a very strategic business decision. And I was surprised in 1 year, once we invested, of course, in all the bottling plants, the payback was just in 1 year. We almost got 1 crore back by recycling our glass bottles and bottling our own water. Plus, we are giving healthier water to the guests. We were giving alkaline water, which was filled, 0 carbon footprint in the premises. So this was our first step into sustainability. Today, all our hotels are 100% smoke-free. You can't smoke in our hotels. It is also all our hotels, we are guaranteeing, at least the city hotels, inside the hotels we are guaranteeing an AQI of 30, which is a big thing for guests. It's a good thing that they're saying Chennai is able to guarantee inside the hotels an AQI, which is very healthy. And we also took it on ourselves. See, the sustainability is not only about ecology, environment, it's also about social. So it's also about promoting our Chennai. So if you go to, during COVID, we renovated the Radisson Chennai near the airport. If you go there, it's a prime example of how you can celebrate Chennai. So in fact, we bought 40 exclusive paint photographs from 1900s. And we have a photo museum on the corridors. We call it the Madras Memories. These are exclusive photos which were exposed by a Danish and a British guys in the 1900s. And they left it. That's a big story by itself. And then we also blew them up and used them as headboards. We also employ local people. And we also are electricity neutral. All our hotels in Tamil Nadu are electricity neutral. That means we exchange with the grid with our solar units. We have solar units and we exchange. So we are all electricity neutral. So if a small group, why I'm telling you all this is not to say that at GRT, why I'm saying is at a small level, and we have done much more than this. We have the first Anglo-Indian restaurant, because Anglo-Indians, British, all of you know that British landed here in Chennai first, right? Before they went all over India. So they were landed here the first, and Georgetown was the first place. And the first church which they built was St. Thomas Church. At least they didn't build it, they made it better. So I think if, what I'm trying to say is if a small organization can do it, why can't Chennai become sustainable? Why can't we as a city take pride and position ourselves as the most sustainable place in India? And it's very easy. By culture, Chennai is sustainable. Vegetarianism, sustainable. We eat on plantain leaves, recyclable. We have, we have so much of sun, we harness solar, we are sustainable. But somewhere we are missing the point. I mean, the other day, we are building a hotel in OMR, and we had a Japanese consultant came in. So I asked him, where do you want to go? So I thought he'll say that I want to go to Mahabs, or I want to see the Marina Beach. He says, no, I want to go and see Pallikarnai Marsh restoration. I was taken aback. I mean, a Japanese coming, and he has researched about OMR, and he was telling me, you guys had 6,000 hectares of wetland in Pallikarnai. Today you have 10%. Good through Ramar project, you guys are restoring the entire thing. So this actually gave me a kind of a boost. And today our hotel, which we are developing on OMR Road, is based on sustainability, on biophilia, and we are taking Pallikarnai Marsh. We are going to support Pallikarnai Marsh restoration too. So like that, there are several things, like the Punga in the Adyar estuary, what they have done. How many of you have gone to that? I mean, it's an amazing thing. They give only 120 tickets every day, but if you walk in, it's another world. And if we can do that in pockets, why can't we do it all over Chennai? And I think it's very easy to do if there is policy making passion, and then the citizens come forward. And of course, corporates are going to shake hands. If DRA can do this, Super Chennai, I mean, I'm sure they also can put in their might into greening Chennai. So I think I can go on about this, but I think there is immense opportunity to put Chennai as a top end, and this is a strategic business decision. It's not a decision which we are saying, oh, it's nice to be sustainable, but I think it's a strategic decision because sustainability is an investment, it's not a cost. And I realized that through what we did, and I think every one of you can do that. And if we make our own organization sustainable, I think we can make the city a beautiful place, and we're going to have pride in saying, come to Chennai and look at us what we do.
Thank you, Vikram. What you told was not just a drop in the ocean, but a tip of iceberg. So next, sir, I'm coming to Mr. Vasu. The Tamil Nadu government is involving the private players under the PPP model in the tourism sector big time. You must be aware about what happened in the summit. Recently, it signed 127 MOUs to the tune of 22,700 crores with the private sector and tourism. So, how the private sector can contribute in enhancing the visitors' experience, sir?
Yeah. So, no. Firstly, I think it's a good model to move forward. I've always felt like, whenever we meet the tourism officials, I tell them that they should more govern than run their own units. The private sector is more capable of running hotels and all the other elements. So they should put down the guidelines. They should, set the tone, the process, rather than getting into every business, which they still do, but that's their call. No, it's a good initiative. But it'll have its challenges also. I think the good part about the PPP model is that the government has said that they will undertake all the painful stuff, the things of getting permissions, which is the biggest hurdle that most industries face. And this was, I think, a lot of hotels, some in Chennai and mostly on the outskirts.
And also in Coimbatore and other places.
Yeah, so everywhere. So I think it's a good initiative, and I think they've tried it in the past, but we'll have to see how things go now. Of course, we're coming up for elections, so let's see what happens. Yeah. So the hurdles that most I think hotels, and I mean I'm in a small way in a hotel, but is actually the issues you face, one with permissions, right? So tourism, of course, they have now claimed that they will give a single window policy or clearance or whatever. Now we have to watch to see whether it actually happens, because I've not really seen that happen, because you start with one and then you're running from pillar to post, getting all the other ones. So this is one thing that if they actually see it through, it's going to be a good step towards it. But at the same time, it's great to have 22,000 crores and investment, but I think Vikram will agree with me. I think this also has to be planned. The tourism in most places are becoming an overkill. So over tourism mostly are hill stations. I think around 10 of these were in the hill stations, which are already choking. So I think we need to go back a bit again to how are we going to solve that? I mean, Kodaikanal, Ooty used to be fantastic 25 years ago. Today we can't even enter. The traffic jams, and just getting there puts you off. You want to turn back. So I think those are things they need to address a little more, the infrastructure. I mean, coming back to Chennai, of course, I was talking to somebody here that, visitors who come, there's nowhere to walk, right? Yes, Marina Beach there, but you can't even walk here. There's no proper pavements. Yes, the ones who are lucky are members in clubs, so you can walk around there. But the others, actually, you can't even walk on the road today, right? So now with metro happening, yes, it's a bigger challenge. So I think, I know I'm going away from your question, but I think the basic part still needs a lot of work. But to answer your question, I think it's a good initiative. So we should see if it actually follows through.
Thank you, sir. In fact, you partially answered to the question what I was supposed to ask Mr. Hari.
Okay.
So, Mr. Hari, how to educate our citizens effectively to make Chennai the most tourist-friendly city in the country or comparable with the most traveled cities in the world?
Ask all the tough questions to me. So, see, I think all of us agree that change starts from home in some sense. There's this Japanese concept called omotenashi, which basically means that there's a lot of pride you take in making people who come home feel cared, right? And there is this Tamil word called Virundombal, which is not very far away from what that means. So I think as a culture, we understand that, but what's stopping us from living that, I think, is a question that we ask ourselves when you say, so it's not something that doesn't exist, and hence you have to find some way. There is a lot of pride that we take. There are so many stories of people helping each other and all of that. But I think somewhere a sense of pride that whatever, clean beaches, clean pavements, clean buses, everything, infrastructure is a lot about how citizens feel. And so I think somewhere a movement on pride, I think, is the first key point for us to feel that we are part of a city that's much more than ourselves. And obviously the entire government role, while yes, I was one of the lucky few to visit the Punga before all these rules came in, because it's very close to my house. But we cannot have pride with just one Punga, right? How do you just make it a norm? How do you just make it a norm that every second, third pin code has something that people can just walk and that's the point of how much will the government do versus how much will the government let somebody else do, right? I think especially if tourism is, you have Ford coming back, you have Nokia doing something, you have a new airport, so much happening already. I think tourism is a beautiful way. I think with the surf thing that the group has done is an example again. So you already have success stories, right? You just got to give more corporates some bit of leeway and let them maybe do some part of it, which could then help change a fundamental behavior. I think there are so many stories. When I was reminded when you were speaking about Anglo-Indian, the sheer breadth of cuisine that's available in Chennai is insane. But why does everybody fascinate about Japanese cuisine or Black Orchid? And how do we put more and more local food back in the map and celebrate that? I think those are various ways in which you already have a lot happening. How do we kind of productize it? How do we get a space for it? for people to come and experience. I remember when I was a tourist guide, I used to take people to Dakshin Chitra, right? And then obviously they stayed at the Temple Bay, right? So, I mean, for every foreigner coming, it was a amazing experience just to see Dakshin Chitra. But that was donkeys years back. Where is the next Dakshin Chitra? Right? How do we create more experience zones for people to take pride? It's a chicken and egg, right? If you don't experience, you can't have pride, right? If you don't have pride, you can't keep it clean. And then we're just in that loop and you're stuck, which I think tech people can understand better on why it's a infinite loop.
Along with his query, I would like to respond to this also, ma'am. See, how are micro communities setting up direction for tourism, and how it would work with hospitality, government, to tourism, tour operators, and the role of local communities?
Yeah, so today when you actually look at Chennai, you have, I think nearly about 200 wards that are actually existing. Each ward, each person has their own community that they actually have. And it's all interspace communities which are actually building up. So even when Arun's talking about surfing, there are so many surfing communities that exist. There are gaming communities that exist, book reading communities that exist. I think that, we have all these things, and it's actually a matter of surfacing them. Today, Instagram is, probably flooded, and it's made for the world, and it probably gives you the awareness, but then it's not enough to actually capture the attention of these people. Similarly, WhatsApp groups exist where, smaller groups are able to say that I'm going to go cycling, or I'm going to do, painting, or, some sort of heritage walks that are actually there and so on. But accessing these elements today is not available easily. So as I said, functional platforms are only for major players that are there. So unless I have an Anirudh concert or a Yuvan Shankar Raja concert, I can't go book the tickets and go for these experiences. So we're trying to actually solve these things by having a space for technology should have a space where everyone is able to showcase their experiences. So if tech is able to actually provide that platform where people are able to say that this community exists and these are the offerings that they actually have, and if it is sustainable, where they are able to actually monetize and make money out of it as well, then it becomes easier, which is what we've been trying to do. And as far as, how the other people can support, I think when I leave, I'll probably ask Vikram to see if I can actually promote some of these Chennai-based new age experiences that are there. Can we actually put it up in his hotel so that, when a tourist comes in, they only know about Mahabalipuram and Mylapore temple that's actually there, right? But they would not know about these small things that are actually there. Having access to these things, makes a big difference. In Prague, it's generally when in England, when people get married, so they have their stag night or their hen night. So the boys go on stag nights, the ladies go on hen nights. They go to Prague to actually go and have a nice time. Sometimes they actually, go pole dance, they go learn different experiences that are actually there and so on. So even we have many different elements that are there, which we can actually showcase. I think somebody spoke about, the number of nightclubs that are there. So back in the years, there were only 2-3 nightclubs that are there. 10 Downing was what we were talking about. Today, there are 70 or 80 nightclubs that are there, which are available. Not many, so providing access to these places will definitely help the tourists as well. And from a government perspective, tourists are probably not, definitely, when Victoria Public Hall is actually opened up, I'm sure everyone wants to actually go there. But if you actually combine that with an experience, I think last week, it's been a month since it was launched, they had Motamadi music that was actually played there. So when you go there, it's an experience that's there. So if we actually have government offices trying to give more spaces for, communities and community-related events and activities, it becomes easier. When Singapore developed their Esplanade, which is almost like their theaters that were there, outside that, they actually have a space where, you'll find students or youngsters actually playing, dancing, or, they'll be learning something. There'll be people who are reading. There'll be people who are practicing for their own, competitions and so on. So exposing or bringing up these communities and opening up these areas to the public will definitely make a big difference as a cultural center where people actually come in. They should be able to actually get all these facilities and be able to meet these people. And this is where it will make a big difference. And platforms like KIN, this is what we're trying to do, where we are exposing all of these smaller micro societies and micro events to people.
So, with your comments, we are bringing this session to an end. First, thank you for the audience for patiently listening to the experts. Thank you so much, and also to all of you, sir. Thank you so much. Thank you.
A big thank you to all of our panelists. Can we give them a round of applause? And I'd like to request Mr. Sajid Satak, the convener of the Sustainability Committee, CREDAI Chennai, to please join us on stage to do the honors and present them with a memento. Starting with Mr. Vikram Kota. Can we have a round of applause, please, ladies and gentlemen? Mr. Hari Ganapati. Mr. Arun Vasu. And Ms. Gayatri Tyagarajan. And our moderator, Mr. Yogesh Kabir Das.